Now that the transmission is officially mounted, let's measure the angle of the engine so that we can finally figure out what the pinion angle is going to be. The best place to find the angle of the transmission is at the front of the engine. Weird, huh? My official engine and transmission angle is at 6.2. That is the number I need to determine my pinion angle. Happy New Year, Garage Fabbers. It's officially 2024, and I wanted to start the year off right with some productivity and accomplishment of some sort. Today, we're mounting the rear axle in the Mighty Max at the proper pinion angle, and though that's not super exciting, I am super excited because it kind of signifies moving forward on this project and getting what seems to be really close to the end, or at least to the point where we can drive this thing again. And to top it off, I'll get to post another video, hopefully signifying a very productive year in 2024. So I'm not wasting any time today. We're gonna get right on it. Now that we know what our pinion angle needs to be, I need to knock off all of these link bar tabs. If you've been following Garage Fab for a really long time, maybe you'll remember that I just tack welded these on with the pinion angle at 0 degrees. I thought that might be pretty close, and then just a small adjustment would be needed. A little bit more than a small adjustment is needed. So I've got to knock all these off so that I can re-weld them on the right location. They are going to be the same distance apart though, even though the pinion angle is going to change. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark where these are, thinking that maybe it will help me line them up much faster. I won't have to very carefully measure the distance from the ends the way I did the first time I welded them on. I'm gonna do that with the bottom ones also. Then I'm gonna cut the tack welds off of each of the tabs and knock them off, and then we get to start setting everything up all over again. So this is where we're at currently. All the tabs have been removed from the axle, and all these spot welds where they used to be have been smoothed out, and we're back to the starting position like nothing ever happened. The axle is waiting patiently on the axle stand / lift thing that I created. Sorry I never got around to making that video. It's coming, I promise. We're gonna put the axle back under the truck, bolt in all the link bars, tighten everything down, set the pinion angle, and tack weld all the tabs back in place. We got the link bars in place. We got the link bar tabs more or less where they're supposed to go. The only thing that we have to do is actually set the pinion angle. So we're gonna double check what the angle is on the engine. And we got this guy here, it's probably gonna give me a hard time.
I'm with the Homeowners Association. Christmas lights were still on after Christmas.
All right, so if you saw the last video, we found out that the crankshaft angle was at 6.2. So that's the angle that we're gonna set the pinion angle at. But my angle finder only has a magnet on the bottom. So sorry to confuse you guys, but we're gonna go with 83.8 instead. Are you mad though? So that angle we want right here. It's actually not far, just eyeballing it. So I expect this to be annoying, but I need to get this to read 83.8. And I just realized that my axle stand holdy G thingy, whatever, is not made for this. So I'm trying to use a clamp. 84, is that close enough? Do we care? So 84.2, no, I don't like it. I gotta figure out something else with this stand. Believe it or not, Justin had a brilliant freaking idea. Remember this from last video? We're gonna prop up the front of the differential and try to get this to hold it up because this clamp just ain't working. Oh God.
You want a hand?
Whoa, look at that, it's already almost there. Yeah, I need a hand. Actually, I need an eyeball. Let me know when I should stop.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 83.8.
Yeah. Oh, that is freaking awesome. Good idea, my friend. I'm gonna tack everything in place. Just made a good point. Is the axle centered? No, it's not centered. But when I push the link bar ends around, I'm hoping at least that it just pushes the bushings out of whack, and then it's just gonna center itself. Right? Right? Okay. Good.
I don't know.
Upper tabs are tack welded into place. Our angle is still at 83.8. Yeah, buddy. Now we're just gonna roll a jack over and tack weld the lower, what are these called? We're just gonna roll a jack over and tack weld these lower control arm tabs. They're not control arm tabs. What are they? Link bar tabs. We're just gonna roll it. We're just...
Just brackets.
Brackets?
It's technically a bracket tab.
Now all we gotta do is tack weld these lower control arm brackets.
It's not a lower controller.
Yes, it is!
No, it's a 4-link.
What? It's
Doesn't control anything.
It controls it. Yes.
It's controlling this.
Link bar. God damn it. Link bar. Link bar.
Lower 4-link.
Link bar. No.
Lower link bar?
Yeah, lower link bar tabs.
Mounting tabs.
Mount.
I should shut up, yeah.
We gotta tack weld these on. Link bar tabs are tack welded into place. Pinion angle stayed. It didn't change too much. I'm okay with that. But what I realized is this 83.3 degrees is angled down. Supposed to be 83.3 degrees up.
Whoa!
The goal here, if you've seen some of my previous videos, mainly the drive shaft video, you're going for parallel between the pinion angle and the engine or transmission. 83.3 degrees down is certainly not parallel. So rewind this back to the beginning and pretend we didn't do any of that, because we're gonna do all the same shit all over again. All right, so I'm not gonna make you watch me cut everything apart again, because we already did that at the beginning of this video. So see you in a minute. All right, take two. This stand should already be set up close to the wrong 83.3. Yep, let's go for the other 83.3, shall we? A big difference. Is it still in the camera? I think I was saying 83.3 the whole time. I knew what I actually needed it to be though. That right there. The link bar tabs are tack welded into place. Again, just before Justin left, he convinced me to tack weld the axle back into place. The math has already been done, and so I was just going to rush through it and slap everything back together. But he pointed out that the way I was doing it was probably going to cause a lot more problems. And that's a problem I have. When things get closer to the end, I start getting excited, I start rushing, I start cutting corners because I already did the work and it's not fun anymore. So I just rush through it. So it's kind of lucky that just by chance he decided to come hang out and keep me from making even more mistakes. So everything's tack welded in. I'm going to completely weld on the tabs, but while on the topic of not cutting corners, I'm going to completely remove the axle so I can weld it right in front of my face and try to get the welds to look a little bit better than they would if I were trying to fit my head and MIG gun into a tight space and working upside down. If I take the axle out, I can flip the axle upside down and weld things properly. The axle has been disconnected from the frame and the pinion angle matches the crankshaft angle perfectly. I want to check the effectiveness of the parallel 4-link again. The last time we did this, I only had the needle angle finder, which isn't super accurate. This one is much better as it has points of a degree. So we'll see when we drop the axle if it changes. I can't see it though, so you'll know before I do. Did it stay the same? Did it change? Not too bad. The overall angle stayed the same, with a few changes of points of a degree. I'm all right with that. That's not pointing out that the 4-link is imperfect. That's just pointing out that I am imperfect. There's something somewhere in the building process that I fudged the numbers a little bit. Basically, the upper link bars and the lower link bars aren't the exact same size, or the number would have stayed exactly the same. This is a really exciting and somewhat scary time, you guys. I'm about to permanently weld on the axle truss. We've got the tabs completely welded on. A lot of the cast pieces have been cleaned where I'm going to be putting some stitch welds. And when you weld cast, from my understanding, it's a bad idea. It's not a very reliable weld, even when you do it right. And doing it right is pretty in-depth. I'm not gonna be going into that much because honestly, I don't know. I'm not super knowledgeable on it. I've been told what to do, which is a lot of preheating and slow cooling. I'm not gonna tell you it's the right way to do it because honestly, I don't know. But here's the deal. The majority of the welds are going to be on the axle tube, which is just typical mild steel from my understanding. It's certainly not cast. That is where all the welds for the truss that matter are going to be located. Then there's just going to be a few welds on the housing of the differential itself that, in my opinion, they're going to be more for preventing vibration and not so much the actual security or structure of the truss. I could be wrong. I may be finding cracks in these welds in the future, but hopefully my thought is right that should the welds on the truss crack around the cast differential, it's not that big a deal because it's welded in several other places that matter even more. I think we're gonna find out whether we like it or not.
I think one of the most important things right now is that I have bushing sleeves inside the upper tabs right now because these tabs are designed to be welded to the truss. And if I weld them and then they're too close together
And I can't fit a bushing in there, that's gonna be a problem. So let me show you what I'm talking about. In case you didn't see the video where we actually built the truss.
in the front, the tabs are going to be welded to the truss along this edge, which is a sort of open corner joint. The tabs also reach up towards the top in these slots right here. They will be welded right there as well. And lastly, in the back of the truss, there are some slits where I will be able to weld the back of the link bar tabs.
So they're getting welded in a whole lot of places, and ooh, I'm dizzy from bending over. So hopefully those bushing sleeves will keep the tabs a perfect distance apart so that I can get the bushing in on final assembly. We'll find out. So let's get to welding this thing up, starting with welding the truss to the axle tube itself, and then we'll move on to the cast. I've mentioned this, but I have been welding everything on the truss first. The truss itself is getting fully welded before I do anything else.
Every single one of these welds was done with the expectation that it was going to cause the truss itself
to distort, and I've been reluctant to attach it to the actual axle tube because I thought the distortion of the truss was going to potentially bend the axle tube, and I didn't mention it because I didn't know for sure if that was actually going to be an issue, but turns out it looks like it might have been.
At one point, the truss fit the axle tube perfectly, but now you can see that it's starting to lift up on the ends, and that's the case on both sides. So there's a possibility if I welded the truss to the tube a long time ago, prior to doing all the other welds, it might have caused the axle tube to curve and kind of create a smiley face kind of thing. And I feel like that would have been really bad for the bearings. As it is, this axle tube was shortened using a questionable method as it is. So there's a possibility I may be cooking bearings in this thing anyways. But at least I'm doing the best to try to minimize that stuff. So now that all the welding in the truss is done and it's nearly cool, now is the time. Now is the time that I'm going to actually weld it to the axle tube. And still, while considering distortion from welding, I'm not gonna put a huge bead on there. This entire thing isn't going to get welded. It's just going to have some maybe 1-inch stitch welds all the way across. The only thing that's going to get welded fully is these little half moon shapes right here on the end. to the axle tubes. All that's left is a few welds on the cast iron housing.
Once again, I'm not gonna get crazy in depth on how to do it because I don't really know how to do it. But I've been told to preheat the cast portion significantly and then let it cool slowly. And that's to attempt to prevent cracking. Once again, I'm not really concerned if those parts crack, but I am going to at least try to get them to not crack. So if you ever see this truck at a car show or SEMA or something in person in the future, feel free to lean in and watch the paint, of course, and check and see if the welds around the cast steel housing are cracked. I absolutely hate oxyacetylene, so I figured I'd do this on video in case it explodes and you can see my final moments. Wish me luck. Well, we're gonna find out just how important preheating is on cast steel because my torch ran out of oxygen when I was trying to preheat the rear. I went ahead and welded it anyways because I'm a hack. Not really. The Mighty Max axle with the truss is complete and ready for paint. And with that, I just want to say, what was that? Did it just crack? It just cracked. I thought it was going to crack in use, not just sitting here in the garage. It just cracked again. I just gave Justin from the fabrication series a call and let him know what was going on, and in that call I learned that welding cast doesn't cause a brittle issue like I thought. Instead, it's the differences between the two different types of metals in expansion and contracting with heat. And so when the cast cools, it creates an insane amount of tension and it breaks the weld almost immediately, which we just figured out. Justin's gonna swing by in a couple days and take a look at it and see if there's anything he can do, but in the meantime, I've got to fill the oxyacetylene tanks so that we can preheat it properly and follow instructions this time in hopes of better results. But that's going to be in another video. So until then, my friends, I was saying thank you for an amazing 2023. It was a huge year for Garage Fab. Let's hit 2024 hard. Will 2024 be the year that the Mighty Max drives out of the garage under its own power? I hope so. So until the next one, my friends, even though things don't always go as planned, keep moving forward.